Jack Dyer and Lou Richards went to Princes Park for the clash between Carlton and Geelong.
Well, it was certainly a great win to Carlton, particularly from the 24-minute mark of the third quarter when they finally kicked 10 goals, 3 to 1 point. That's all Geelong could manage in that latter part of the game. But the first quarter, no doubt, Jack, was one of the most boring games I've seen for a long time. As a matter of fact, the crowd in front of us were yelling out, boring, boring,
yeah.
boring.
It was amazing. Right in front of us there, they were just saying it's a boring game. But I've heard that off the kids at home. They all say it's boring. Anything's wrong with it. By Joe, they kept saying it all the time.
Jack, the thing that impressed me about Carlton, I felt that they were going half-paced throughout the game, and probably the worst thing that could have happened to Geelong was when they hit the front of the 24-minute mark by a point, because Carlton just released the brakes and away they went.
I reckon they leerise a bit.
They do. I think they're that confident they can think they can take their opponents any time. They're going to come with a thud one day, because a tougher side and a better side won't allow this to happen, because they had Geelong's measure all the time. Their forward line was great. Bazusto was a great player, and he creates many opportunities. And I think that David Parkin is certainly making a mistake by trying to make a full forward out of Hunter. I know it works sometimes during a game that you move a fella from the back line, put him at full forward, and he becomes a success. But Hunter plays his best football in defence, and why move him? Because he's one of the best, if not the best, half-back flanker in the league. And their back line is superb. Dool, a great defender. We know how great he is. There's we see Bright, a little bit lucky that time, had a bit of hesitation, and of course luck went his way. Dool hand passed, we finally kicked the goal. Mossop played very well in the ruck for Geelong, was battled hard all day, as did Peake in the centre. Possibly the best game that Peake's played for the year.
Well, come on now, say something constructive about Geelong. What advice would you give them? What do they need?
Well, they need quite a few players, and their forward line is full of lightweights. They don't play the game hard enough. Let me say that about them.
They look like midgets.
Well, they're not a big side. They've only got a couple of good marks. They certainly miss Jack Hawkins with those high marks down there in defence. Mossop's a good mark. Other than that, young Flanagan hasn't learnt to take a mark yet. And, of course, their rovers are down to blazes. They need a couple of good rovers.
What do you mean they don't play the game hard enough?
Well, what's that mean?
Well, what are you saying? They're not physical.
They're not
vigorous enough when the opportunity arises. And I mean that they don't tackle strongly enough. That's it, dug in a nutshell.
They won't take that.
No, they haven't got the killer instinct, and that's one of the things that's failing. But Carlton's defence is great. Their ruck's great, and you see the player that impresses me with Carlton is Fitzpatrick. Whenever the pressure's really applied, he can take a great mark. And full marks to Rod Austin yesterday. He played a great game. He had the unenviable job of minding Michael Turner, who kicked 7 goals last week, and Rod had to tag him. He not only tagged him, put him out of business, and became one of Carlton's most attacking players, Jack.
He certainly did too. He's an amazing player. I think he's the best stopper in the league.
He's a great player. He played well.
Player. He concentrates so much and also attack at the same time. He's one of those types of players.
Jack,
they're
you're
very hard
agreeing with
to get.
everything he says today.
Well, you can't say anything about Geelong. You've got to forget that game, I think, as far as Geelong's concerned, and have a look at the Carlton side and just try and analyse where you can defeat them.
Jack, I just feel sorry for you in one way, because you're a one-eyed Richmond supporter. When they play Richmond, they'll carve them right up because they could go at our place.
You are an idiot. There's no worries about you. Like, they had no opposition whatsoever yesterday. Not a bit of opposition. Now, there's only one. I was happy for about 3 players in the Geelong side, and one I generally give a bit of a roast to was Dan Curvis. He played it right out to the finish. Dan Curvis, Bruce Dan Curvis. Mossop tried his heart out. Yeah. Then after that, you could go.
Well, wait a minute. What about Murray at fullback? Did a good job on Hunter, didn't he?
Well, if you call it a good job, I don't know. Hal should have kicked about 7 goals. He was down there at one time.
That's not Murray. His job was to mind Hunter.
Hunter was playing on half-forward flank, out in the half-forward flank, Hunter. I think he was, because no one played in their position for Carlton. They just ran anywhere at all.
The best footballer in Australia, is he still...
The best footballer. He's got a long way to be the best footballer in Australia. I'll give you that tip. Like, he was a receiver yesterday. He went back to receiving instead of getting. They've gone beyond recall.
Votes yesterday, Jack, all the...
There you are, those words to wisdom coming from His Majesty from Richmond, Punt Road, the king of Punt Road. My first vote went to a blow that Jack just canned. I thought that he played a fairly good game, right, Pete?
I don't know.
You are an idiot,
Someone
Jack.
must get a kick, you know, on a side.
Well, I gave him their best player.
And he got 7 kicks off the blokes kicking out.
Well, that's his good play. Position.
Position.
They kicked it to him.
They kicked it to him.
They didn't kick it to him.
You've got to make position.
And I thought this young kid played a great game. No doubt about it. David Baskett's improving with every match. He was my second choice. And Rod Austin, I gave him a rap before, one of the best games he's played for Carlton. And he was there. I think he had about 18 or 19 kicks, 7 or 8 hand passes, and plus the fact he put Geelong's star forward out of business in Mike Turner.
Peter McKenna looks at the clash at Windy Hill between Essendon and Collingwood next on the Wales panel.